Okay, today we're going to do a review on an interesting old rifle that I have. This is a rifle manufactured by Fabrique Nationale in Belgium. It was a sporting gun based on the Mauser 98 action. They manufactured and exported these rifles to the United States from about 1946-47 until the late 50s. This particular gun was left to me in my great uncle's estate, and I guess his wife told me during his funeral, when she found out he left me a bunch of his personal items, that she bought this rifle for him as a birthday present or something, or anniversary gift back in 1955, and she paid $300 for this gun, which back then was a very large amount of money. And what it is, it's made by the FN factory in Belgium. They did make a version of the KAR-98 after the Germans occupied the factory in Belgium itself during World War II. And what this is, it's the commercial or sporting version of a Mauser 98. There's some modifications to the bolt, turn down handle, and the low profile safety. The barrel, of course, is a different contour other than the military one. The action's probably identical, more or less, to a military gun, with, you know, being blued and done differently. And I guess they came in different calibers. This one's a 30-06. I believe it came with this sporting ramp type sight, and if you look here in the back on the receiver, it's drilled and tapped there for like a Williams receiver mounted peep sight, which when the military guns were converted, that was a popular sight. Sorry about that, it's hard to do this by myself. Yeah, the Williams receiver peep sight was a real popular sporting sight with the slope ramp front sight back then. It's checkered very nice here with a pistol grip style stock. Both the front and that's that hand checkering, which is kind of standard on the guns at the time, that design and the style of checkering. Alright, we're going to try to rotate it. And as you see, the trigger guard in that is basically a milled version, nicely finished, with a button down there to drop the floor plate and empty the magazine out. The bolt handle is bent. I have to take a break in there. I can't do this one-handed. The bolt handle is bent and sloped downward so you can mount a scope on it. That was done at the factory. They used to do this to the old military guns to facilitate mounting scopes on them. Let me try to, there it goes. And basically, you can see it's like your standard military bolt. You know, 5-shot magazine. And when you go to the back end, the only difference is this has the low profile safety. So we'll take a look at it. So when you close this, I'm going to close the bolt now. I'm having trouble doing it one-handed. Okay, as we all know, our Mauser flag safety straight up is safe, and you can open the action and you go all the way to the right with it and it locks the action, and you can't open the bolt. Well, this particular gun has a low profile safety, a modified safety, and this has also been modified so you can use it with a scoped rifle. It goes up like that. Now, there's only two positions, up and down, and when you go up with this, it does lock the bolt. You can't open the bolt, and the gun is on safe. So it's a little bit different. This modification was available for years if you were converting a Mauser KAR-98 to a sporting gun and mounting a scope, or mounting a scope on it. you could buy this like from Brownells, this conversion. The bolt release is standard, almost it's identical to the military with the extractor. The stock has a raised cheek piece on it, and we have our Pachmayr recoil pad, which Pachmayr was a brand new company back in the 50s, making these recoil pads and grips for handguns. And if we go to the receiver here, we'll try to get a look at the markings. Yep, Fabrique Nationale in Belgium. And it does have all the proof marks and that on there, with a high polished blue finish in the caliber 30-06. So it's an interesting old firearm, very accurate. And the scope on there also was from that time period. I think it's an antique, considered an antique now. It's a Weaver K5, I believe. Variable power, 3 to 5 times magnification. The scope's still pretty clear and works good. When I got the gun, it was, I tried to figure out, it was 35 years ago when my great uncle passed away. I received the gun. I fired it a few times. And I shot a 5-inch group you can cover with a quarter at 100 yards. I'm into the old military guns. I don't hunt. This would be an outstanding hunting rifle. And I just cleaned it, oiled it, and kept it in a safe for 35 years. I was going through my collection. My nephew was coming to visit, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to leave to different family members in my estate. And I said, well, I'll take this out, and me and my nephew would shoot it and try it out, see if he likes it. I'd like to keep this gun in the family. You know, it's a nice rifle, and that's kind of a strange story on that. I am going to go, and I was always kicking the idea around and making a pet reload for this. So probably you'll see more of this gun out. I'm going to try to get a good reload in 30-06 for this rifle and tune it in. We did go and shoot it. It kind of shoots a little to the left, so the scope might have gotten knocked out of whack over all these years. It was right on when I fired it 35 years ago, but this gun's I've moved several times, and this gun's been around, so it might be off, but still clear. You know, it didn't fog up or leak any of the gas, nitrogen out of there, I guess. So it's still in good shape. So now we'll go and I'll take it apart and take a closer look at the components, a better look. And then I'll throw in some shots of us when we were shooting it out at the range. I don't think I posted a target. We didn't go down and look at the targets for accuracy wise, because it was kind of raining that day. So that'll be in another video. Okay, I've disassembled the rifle, and I didn't film doing it because it's just a basic Mauser 98 style gun. You know, the trigger guard comes out with 2 screws, you know, like on a KR 98. There's no barrel band, so you don't have to fool with it. And you know, and you just get it out of the stock. The rifle will come right apart. Now the trigger guard magazine, if you look at it, that's a standard Mauser KR 98 milled trigger guard with a blue finish, the follower, the spring, and then it has this button down here that you just depress. It's a little easier than the military one, and you take the floor plate out. As you can see, it's just all this gunk and grease on there. All that there, that's dried oil. That's what, you know, just years and years. Like I said, I had this in this, I haven't fired this gun in 30 years. I have oiled it every now and again and checked the bore when it was in the safe. but I haven't taken it apart in a very long time and cleaned this. And there's grime and dust and dried oil and that gums up, so we're going to get it clean. Now the stock is a sporter stock, civilian stock, and it's fairly decent wood. I don't know much about wood or grading sporting rifles, and it has a Peckmeyer recoil pad on it, which back in the 50s when he bought that gun, that was like an extra option. You added that on, and Peckmeyer was a new company back then. You got a pistol grip, checkering here, hand cut checkering. The stock is serial numbered to the rifle. Inside there's a serial number that matches the rifle, just like the military, but it's got a cheek rest on it, pistol grip, and that fairly nice wood. Now another thing, whenever you take a gun like this apart, I had trouble. That trigger guard come out of there pretty, it was in there. You had to just be gentle with it. Don't try prying it. You know, you get the magazine plate and wiggle it loose. And the rest of the action was fairly well stuck in there, because I don't think it's, like I said, it hasn't come out in a long time. And if you look at it, you can feel it and see it. There's like this gummy residue under your stock line. If you find a lot of guns that are rusted under there, the moisture gets under there. This is all covered in oil and just dust and gunk. So I got to clean all that off and everything. And if we look at our action, we'll take a closer look at it. This thing is so much a standard Mauser rifle, it ain't funny. Even down to the trigger. You got your standard trigger, which they may have made a little bit better than a military gun. And your standard Mauser receiver just has it written on there, FN Belgium, and all kinds of Belgian proof marks. And then your barrel, just the contours changed somewhat. It's fairly heavy, 30-06, and came with sporting sights. It doesn't have the step for the military rear sights, because FN did make versions when the Germans took over Belgium. They did get the factory back running and made KAR-98s. And post-war years, that's what they're trying to get the European countries back on their feet again. They made civilian versions of the gun at the factory. So you got a standard Mauser trigger on there, just like on the military version. The bolt release is identical to the military version here. You know, it's been mounted with the Weaver K5 scope and goes down your barrel, and they had civilian sights put on. And if you look at the other side of the receiver, in the back here, up in here, there's two drilled and tapped holes, probably for a Williams receiver sight, is probably how the gun came without scope. The scope, the recoil pad, all that stuff was an extra add-on. And plus, the gun's calibered in 30-06, which was an extremely popular caliber in this country for hunting for years. And we'll take a look at the bolt. Your bolt, it's a standard of any Mauser military bolt up here, except the handle. If you look at the handle, it's got a low bent handle for a scope, knurled up on a half flat ball on there. Everything's the same on the back end, except it has this low scope mount safety, where Mauser safety, okay, comes up. The flag safety on a military gun will come up in the middle. You can open a bolt all the way to the it would be to the right, looking at the gun. When it swings around, locks the gun. This is a two-position safety. When you have the gun loaded and the bolt down, when you throw this up, it locks the bolt and the gun is on safe. You got to push it down. But that's a closer look at it, because you can't really see it well with the scope on there. The scope kind of hangs over that. But that was a modification. You could buy these kits when you modified your military gun and put this type of safety on it. But other than that, it's identical to a military KR98. Alright, I'm going to clean this and get it back together again. Alright, we're out here with my great uncle's Belgian FN98 with an old Weaver K5, I think, scope on 30-06. This is an old gun. It was bought for him by his wife back in 1955. It's been like 30-some years since I fired it, since I inherited it. So now we're going to take it out again and give it a try. It was pretty accurate. I got some Remington 180 grain core locks. So we're going to give it a shot at 100 yards. No, alright, shut it off. Alright, ready to go. Looks like I'm hitting in the bowl.
Just a little left.
A little to the left?
Yeah, a little left.
Alright. Sometimes it's hard when he's rested. Hold on to a gun this size. That one should have been. Looks like I said, it's been a while since we shot it, but not too bad. It's got a Packmeyer pad on it. Not too bad for 30-06 water. Well, that's that. Alright, you're way to the left.
Okay.
Fairly well on center, but to the left. Yeah, if you yank it back. There you go. That's probably gummy. That oil's dried up over the past 40, 50 years. And I gotta disassemble that thing completely. Alright, you're in the black. Still a little to the left, but you hit the black ring. Give it a shove. There you go. Okay, you're almost on the bullseye. Slightly to the right to the center. So you're compensating. You're doing good. Now you're a little to the left again off the square paper. Having trouble focusing with your eyes?
Yeah.
Alright. Take your time. I think that one doubled right up.